My name is Dom DeSantis, and I'm telling stories. The previous story, part one of the Alpha take over the Earth. This is now part two, the Alpha take over the Earth. And in part one, Alpha 1 came to an agreement with the United Nations to pursue a symbiotic policy where the human beings would try to create methodology that would allow them to uh, not harm and cooperate with the life and existence of the earth. At this time, Alpha 1 is preparing to present his ideas and further his plea for a symbiotic arrangement. Uh, the President of the United Nations points to him and says, "You have the floor." And immediately, the Russian representative speaks up in his native language. "How is it possible for you to speak my language? Because I have a special dialect." And before Alpha 1 could speak to reply, another representative, "He's speaking my language." And then another, and several representatives stood up and said, "How can he speak all of our languages?" Alpha 1 raised his hand. He said, "Now let me explain. The Alpha visit many planets throughout the universe and speak to many different humanoid and other life forms. We more or less use a mental telepathy method of communication where it goes to your brain and your brain translates into your native language. That's how it works." Alpha 1 adds that he believes the Bible, the book, mentions tongues where people spoke in tongues and everyone understood. Everybody quiets down. The next interruption in Alpha 1's presentation is a question from the German representative who says he has his science officer there and they would like to ask some questions before the start. He asked the question, how did the universe, or who started the universe? Alpha 1 smiles, and Alpha 1 says, "You may not like the answer. One of the problems with Earthlings or your philosophies is that you are stuck on time, that there has to be a beginning and there has to be an end. Consider the universe in pieces, always existed, like a clear palette for an artist to draw upon, but no paint, no idea, just the palette. The creators, who we refer to as our chosen supreme beings, decided to release a life force into the universe. When that life force went forward, we were part of it. We were part of that life force. We are in charge of making sure all of the planets that support life develop properly, and that life on those planets works with, as we keep promoting a symbiotic philosophy, the planet and the people or the inhabitants of the planet work together to maintain the quality of life and the quality of the planet. That's our job. We are more or less the people that protect and guide the human beings of Earth, as well as other residents of other planets. Another question comes out. Have you been on Earth? Have you helped us? Again, Alpha One smiles. Depending on your knowledge of, or your belief, I should say, of how the world started, how human beings came to be. We have been here since life started. We did eliminate the dinosaurs since you would not be able to exist with those large, vicious animals. Yes, there was a meteor, but in addition to the meteor, a lot of the dinosaurs were displaced or sent to other planets where they would not interfere with higher forms of life. We also caused the flood, which was to eliminate genetic issues. You may have read in your Bible, again, of giants and centaurs and things of that sort. Much of that is exaggeration, but because of the lack of genetic specificity, where only human genes would fertilize human beings, there were people who would have relations with other types of animals, beings, where they could produce offspring that were not acceptable. So, an excuse for the flood, we also relocated or eliminated the dangerous genetic alterations. We also made a change in the DNA of human beings so that it would not happen again. You have not had the opportunity to break down your DNA completely. And if you ever do, you will notice that it's in pieces. And the pieces are basically from the beginning of human beings to when alterations were made with crossings and linkage between different uh, types of human beings. So your DNA is a collage of everything your people have experienced over thousands of years of your existence. Are there any more questions or can I go on? Someone yells out, is there a God? Well, again, my answer to that may not be what you're looking for. The religions that you support have created a God in the image and likeness of man. And some religions have created multiple gods, such as Christians that call three in one. So there are different phases of God. The truth is, the universe was created by supreme beings that exist in another dimension and decided that this dimension, our universe, or this universe that we have been sent to protect and work with, needed to bear life. And they sent a life force which touched every planet. Some planets, such as Earth, were able to develop high levels, highly intelligent beings. Other planets were not. Basically, your planet is one of the chosen that supported the life force. There was quiet, and someone shouted, "Are you saying there is no God?" And Alpha One got quiet, and he said, "I do not challenge your religion or your beliefs. Your religion, particularly the Jewish Old Testament, with the rules and regulations, gathered the people together and got you where you are today. The fact that science has advanced has given people a reason to question, how can this be? How is that possible?" And I am telling you the truth. The truth is, there is no particular man God. There is an essence of intelligence that exists in another dimension, and there are several dimensions, who took it upon themselves to bring this universe into existence. You most likely will have trouble considering that. But I believe you are of the level of intelligence who will be able to sit back, think about this, and come to an agreement that anyone with such power, be it a god, be it creators, as we call them, has the ability to do this. And only them, only such power. Another person, this time, raises their hand and asks, "Well, you've given us a reason why the Earth exists. What about the moon?" And Alpha One chuckles a bit. "Well, if you didn't believe the story about God, and if you're a little shaky on the universe, you're going to have trouble with this one. The moon was built by Mars and the people of Mars. Mars used to have a humanoid population. The scientists of Mars realized that the sun could issue bursts of energy that may harm the planet or rip through the atmosphere, and people would die. So they started to build a moon, a satellite that would revolve around Mars and protect Mars from such solar activity. Your Van Allen belt that protects the Earth, similar to that. Before they could finish the satellite, the sun did its business. The sun hit the atmosphere and Mars started to die. They put as many people as they could on this satellite. It became an ark, and they headed towards the closest planet that would support their life, and that was Earth. When they got to Earth, humans were barely developed on Earth, Earthlings. And they stayed on the moon, visiting the planet off and on to help and support, to do what they could and they worked with us, keeping anonymous as to who they were. Uh, Many of us, including the people from Mars, are referred to as watchers or angels, and no one was about to try to explain to young earthlings and barely in development with no science background what was actually going on. So as far as the angels, watchers, etc., that was okay with us. As the planet expanded, the Martians moved in. Someone raised their hand. Alpha 1 pointed, yes. That person says, well, are the Martians still here? Alpha 1 again smiled, said, you're going to love this one. You are descended from these Martians. They mixed and married with the people of the earth and propagated. Most of the people who are Caucasian, white, are Martians. If you were able to look at your DNA, you would see or could find an obvious Martian chain. Other people, Asians, uh, other types of human beings are also part of what you call aliens who visited the planet and stayed and made it, actually improving over the thousands of years your intelligence and your scientific ability. The only people who are truly from the earth and grew from the earth through uh, Darwin and his theory are black people. Black people developed from intelligent and developing physically upright apes. And those uh, apes became Cro-Magnon, and those Cro-Magnon became human beings. I believe your technology is. And this was only black people. Now, the other people who had visited the earth, whom you call aliens, crossbred with each other, with black people, with Indians, the American Indians, who were also from another planet. And all of these, the Chinese, the Indians, a lot of the different societies have stories to go back that they tell, that they don't understand, but they all relate to how their people were created. And this is the truth. This is what you are and why we have come to help you save your planet, help you maintain the planet. There's also another reason, and that reason is you have been sending messages out into the universe. You are anticipating that someone who is friendly, who is not a warring faction, but a more advanced society than your own, will respond. Well, unfortunately, we know of very bad people from the universe who may visit Earth. And one of the things we need to do is to prepare you. One of the major needs in your preparation is to become more of a planetary ruling people, less individuals who focus only on their own needs and relate their needs to the wants of other countries. I believe you call that trade. You need to get together in one voice, in one action. We can help you do that. And you need to put together a planetary defense. I believe you have a space, or the United States has a space program or space force. We're not calling for a major Star War type thing, but we do want to prepare you for what may come. Visitors from other planets may not be interested in being friendly. They are mainly interested in your resources. Resources not only your gold, your silver, and your precious metals, but your people, slaves. Your planet can be enslaved. People can be taken and sold to other planets in the universe as slaves. This is something that we cannot tolerate, and we need to help you avoid. So, yes, the symbiosis of saving your planet, the work with the animals and plants and water systems, the air systems of the earth, and not polluting a symbiotic relationship. That's very important. But also down the road, it is important to become a planetary force who can trade with other planets so that you benefit from technology as well as some new materials and new devices, and protect yourself from the bad side of the universe, sometimes referred to as the dark side. So please, let me continue to explain our program, how it can help you, what technical advances that we can do for you in many different areas. Power, utilities, water purification, air purification, medical, many, many new advances available from the universe to your planet and to your people. And as I have requested, it should be looked at as a planet. You are Earthlings, all of you, no matter what your country, no matter what your religion, no matter what your politics, you are all Earthlings, and you need to act together to survive. Thank you for listening to my story. I appreciate it.